What's up, guys? Belmont here. So I decided to do something a little bit different today. We'll be taking a look at the tactics presented in Symphony of the Night. Some are weird, some are very clever, and some are just stupid. It's a mixed bag. It's very interesting, so I decided, let's take a look at it together. So we have Richter here. He's ready to face Dracula. Let's see the tactics they presented us for Richter. Let's go. All right, that amazing tune kicking in. Beautiful. And you can see he's gonna do some needless stuff. He's showing off, trying to make it more dynamic, more dramatic. And he climbs for the 5 heart bonus. Goes back for another 5 heart bonus. Does a slide and converts it into a jump kick. I wish the heavy metal tune would keep on playing throughout this fight. It's amazing. And you're gonna see him doing some really reckless stuff here. First, he's gonna open it across, backflip. And here's the thing: if you're playing it safe, then never do this. All right? It's needless to do this. You can pretty much jump, go for Richter's whip dash, and then as soon as you land, turn around, jump, and attack again. So you get 2 hits at each of Dracula's teleportation. This part's pretty obvious. Duck and jump. See what I told you. Jump, dash, turn around, attack. However, I must say, man, Dracula's theme is also amazing, with all the organs and the orchestration. It's so beautiful. And he takes a needless hit here by trying to uppercut Dracula. I'm not saying you can't, but chances of you getting hit are just immense. Then he goes for a Grand Cross. Picks up the Holy Water, setting himself up for the Hydrostorm, which comes now. Yes. And during a Hydrostorm startup animation, as Richter's pointing up, you're invincible. Needless hit. And Dracula's down. This tactics they showed us for Dracula using Richter sucked. Okay, this wasn't good. So next up we have Gaibon Slogra. The game's first proper boss. And he is gonna play it safe. You're gonna realize that he won't be using the axe in this first phase, which I would have. No, hit once on the ground. As soon as the green guy, I always mix them up, is grabbed, jump, attack again. I think he's gonna go for the axes now. Yes, he is. And pay attention to the way he fights. I think that's Gaibon. Very good backdash. He knew the timing for this. And it's done. Unless it's your very first time playing Castlevania Symphony of the Night, it's a very hard fight to lose. And this fight is going to be trivial the way he's going to do it. The first fight against Doppleganger level 10. Check it out. Jump, attack. What he's doing is he's basically gaming the enemy's AI, so he'll always do the same thing over and over and over again. And since there are no mysteries here, I'm gonna fast forward this portion. You can see right here. It's funny. See, same thing over and over again. This strategy works. I mean, it's not as fun to pull, but it works. Oh, and by the way, this video is going to be a 2-part video since the total runtime is 32 minutes. I decided to make 2 chunks of 16 minutes each. And here we're going to face the Hippogryph, which is one of the most pathetic bosses in the entire game. And you can see some really dumb strats here, because he backdashes out of the fire breath, but you can very well just duck and keep on attacking. If I remember correctly, you won't get hit. The boss theme is beautiful though, man. It's just... And take a look at the painting in the background. It always mesmerized me because you can see men fighting demons and they're coming from the sky. And who's that guy who's hovering? It's Lucifer, and it's amazing. And I just noticed, if you look to your left on the painting, you know, I'm commenting on something else because, you know, it's boring to watch this. You're gonna see that there's a beheaded guy. That's the first time I've seen this. And this is one of the beautiful aspects of Symphony of the Night. You always notice new things. And he just destroyed the eggs, which is pretty self-explanatory. If you don't, small hippogriffs who come flying to the screen. You know, they're not very damaging, but, you know. And this is another bit I will fast forward. I'll be doing this on a couple of fights, not all of them, since the strat is all there. So in the end, this strat works. Could be faster, a lot faster, if you just duck under the fire breath and attack. But this is also very functional, and he does not get hit. And you can notice that all of those strats, they have been made with Alucard at level 1. Now we have the Scylla Worm. Again, it's a pretty hard boss to lose to. Just jump and attack. Be careful for its range, for its reach. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button, man. Your support helps tremendously. And also, I have a Patreon and a Buy Me a Coffee system, which I'll leave the link to in the description. And this next part is very interesting, because if I'm simply walking, and even if I begin dashing at this very last part, I was never able to not get hit. Now, I want you to pay attention to the strat, to the way this guy is gonna fight Scylla. It's amazing. This is the highlight of the entire tactic system. It's beautiful. He has the holy water. Pay attention to this. So he's gonna back up and throw. He misses the first holy water, but he wants to throw him on the first pillar, which will make short work of the worms. And what he did there was he used the iframes of the transformation to avoid the blue spheres. That is high-level playing. This entire fight is high-level. You know? It's beautiful. And he manages to destroy all the blue skulls just in the nick of time. I don't know if that last shot against the bigger ball was a lucky shot or not, but still, great fight. Perfect fight. Next up, we have the Minotaur and the Werewolf. This is also going to be very interesting because even though we will kill those bosses, pretty much most of them, very quickly, if we fight them without having, you know, better equipment and being at a very low level, there are some very interesting fights, especially this one. See, there's a lot of team play over there, so you have to keep an eye on them at all times. It's pretty much Ornstein and Smell from Dark Souls. Yes, I went there. Jump. That uppercut's so beautiful. I remember one of the first times I saw anything about Symphony of the Night. You jump at that, you know, the double dash. It contained an image of the Minotaur performing that uppercut somewhere else in the castle. You know, it was still an alpha or beta version of the game. Werewolf's down. You see, the Minotaur does have quite a few different attacks, and when you mix them together, it's a very interesting fight. As a matter of fact, I think I'm gonna look for some sort of mod which caps my level, or at least does something smarter in the way I level up, and fight with weaker weapons, because after watching this, you know, I became much more appreciative of every single boss. Because, if you know, Symphony of the Night, as much of a masterpiece as it is very poorly balanced. You know, it's completely forgivable because, you know, this was the first game of its kind, so it happens. But anyway, and he's down. Next up, we have. Okay, this guy's called Karasuman. Karasu means crow in Japanese. And the way he's gonna fight this boss is very suboptimal, because the main strat for Karasuman is never letting him land. If you don't let him land, he'll never attack. Again, I think this is the easiest boss in the game, but check it out. And you know, even if some of the strats they pull here are not optimal, they're still very entertaining to watch, because you're seeing the bosses being defeated in other ways. Just duck under the boss. Same thing. Actually, you don't have to duck for that. Wing spread. Pathetic. Next, I think it's the Cerberus. Let's see. No, the Succubus. And I particularly liked watching the footage for the Succubus, because when you're playing and when you're just watching, you know, they're two different things. When you're just watching, you get to pay a lot more attention to details, and I like how her wings are drawn. You know, they're so big. And he's using the Zweihander, or Zweihander, one of my favorite swords. However, he doesn't go for the weapon thrust. You know, back, forward, and attack. There he is, but he pulls it pretty late into the fight. So for this attack, you have to stay at an angle, but the angle is always going to be the same, so it's not hard. This is a little bit more complex. You have to look for the correct one. Missed the two attacks, and she's down. Cerberus opens with a flying kick, throws and misses 2 potions by a very small margin. And this was very interesting. It was either cocky or very quick reaction, because it was almost a frame perfect evasion of the fireballs with the iframes from the high jump. And he's down. I think it's now. No, another cycle. Yes, he's gonna die now. You know, if you do in fights where you are able to use the holy water, they become trivial. Orlox is gonna do some funny stuff here. That was my phone right now. He's gonna sit on the chair. Begins the fight with an insult. And actually, Orlox is one of my favorite boss fights, and I think it's one of the most overlooked boss fights, because it's very complex in a way. So what you can see here is that this guy knows the weapon he's using, and by that I mean this Firehander has a much slower attack animation there than a short sword, so there's also that. You can't just attack as quickly as you would with a faster weapon, because you leave yourself exposed. Nice dodge. And he's doing something I instinctively began doing, which is whenever I need to attack a target, but I need to jump, what he does is he jumps forward. Oh, it's a shame. He jumps forward, attacks, and while still attacking, he'll hold back. So he can go forward, mid-air, attack, and then go back. You know, offense and defense at the same time. This is pretty basic. And the thing with Orlox in the second form is that if you take too long to beat him, he will begin getting much more aggressive. This is actually one of the boss fights where you can die. I mean, you can die in all of them, but you know what I mean. I always found this super creepy and cool. Alright, Orlox down. Next, we have the Granfalloon, or Legion. And if you haven't already, I have a video where I explain what is a Granfalloon. It's amazing content. I really enjoyed making this video. I think it adds a whole lot more depth to this amazing boss, this iconic boss. So I'll leave the link to it right now on the cards right here. And this is going to be the very first fight where the player, he's going to win by skill, not by control of the battlefield itself. You're going to see that he's going to change his tactics quite often, and he will sometimes miss what he intended to do, but he's able to recover gracefully. So this is a two-stage, two-part boss. You know, one part consists in managing all of the undead that fall from the Granfalloon itself. You know, the undead that make part, that compose the Granfalloon, and the other one is attacking the giant entity itself. If you want to make short work of the Granfalloon, then Soul Steel. You know, you'll attack every part at the same time, well, actually, every part that's on screen, and recover a fuckload of health. Alright, another chunk. And he seems to be using the Ice brand for this. But again, level 1. And it's not the best... Actually, not level 1. I'm gonna say starting level. That's what it is. And actually... those stats he has are not the best. Because if you manage to beat Dracula as Richter at the game's prologue without picking up any sub-weapons and getting hit, you will begin with Alucard at 85 points of health, not 80. There's you know, another differences in stats too, but yeah, they're pretty much neglectable. That's what I was talking about, where he fumbles an input but recovers gracefully. Amazing. And you still have to watch out for the beam cannons. Or if you want to make this fight even quicker, you can go for the Tater Spirit. Short work. And those strats I'm telling you about the spell usage, they pretty much work for every boss in the game. And one of the things that make the game a lot more fun to play is not using spells at all on boss fights. I highly recommend you doing so, at least once. Alright, so our dear Granfalloon is down. Remember, I have a video about it. So that was it. You can see I'm replaying this first section. That was it for this first part. I'm dying to make the second one. As a matter of fact, I'll record it right now, but I'll only publish it tomorrow. I hope you had a great time watching this. Remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Belmont out.